Calling our special commission meeting to order at 12:01 p.m. At this time, we'll have invocation by our chaplain, Frank Stevens.
Remain standing after the invocation for the Pledge of Allegiance. Heavenly Father, my prayer is for healing the divisions within our city. Bring reconciliation where there is conflict. Bring understanding where there is misunderstanding. Help us to forgive one another and build bridges of love and respect. Lynn Haven is a beautiful city, Lord, and we're blessed to live here. Let our heart's desire be to foster a strong community spirit in our city. Encourage us to support one another and work together for the common good. May we be united in our efforts to create a better place for all residents. Lord, give our city a shared vision for the future where we all come together with common goals and aspirations. May we work collaboratively to achieve a prosperous and harmonious community in Lynn Haven. May our collective actions bring about positive change and live in Lynn Haven. I speak this in the name of Jesus. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're here to discuss, take action on city manager employment. Is there a motion?
So I wish I could say a lot more, but as we know with the lawsuit going on, we got to be careful what we say. But this is what I can tell you. I had at least 33 questions that I asked the people that I talked to. And some of them had questions to make sure I was thorough. I was scheduled for an hour and I went off. So, like I said, I wish I could say more, but I am ready to make my motion. And my motion, before I make my motion, I'd like to make a tentative motion because I'm not sure how this is going to go. But my agenda item I'd like to add is if the city manager is terminated, I'd like to discuss how we're going to fulfill the city manager position temporarily until that time.
All right.
Do you need a motion for that to add the agenda item?
I'll second the motion on the agenda addition.
Okay.
All right. Comments from the public? No comments? City? All right. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mayor and Commissioner. Tony Boston, 159 North Kimbrell Avenue. That motion should be turned down. It should be defeated because in the midst of all this, he's still not sure. Yes, you, Mr. Warwick, are still not sure about the motion you want to make. This motion is not about right and wrong. It's about your convenience. And that is a shame. You guys that the people of Lynn Haven have elected to represent you, you should do a better job. This shouldn't even be an issue. We shouldn't be here right now. On Monday, there should have never been a motion to continue investigating or questioning. Your own lawyer sitting to my right, your left, the lawyer from Tallahassee, and the other guy on the phone all told you at least 3 times that this was a bad idea. And yet you still continue on with this. I didn't graduate from Princeton, Harvard, or Yale, but common sense would have told me to leave it alone. You jeopardizing the existing lawsuit to appease one man. And that's absolutely insane. If you look in Webster's under stupidity, you'll see doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Now, I don't know how you sit there with those half-dead eyes and have the unmitigated gall to make a statement like that. Because if this part of the statement doesn't pass, and if you get it on the agenda, then another motive comes forward. Now, the next motion will be to fire Vicky. That should be resolutely turned down, but yet here we are. You guys talk about the loss of confidence. The loss of confidence is coming from your right, my left. The two commissioners you got sitting on your far left or far right. That's the reason the people of Lynn Haven have a lack of confidence. Because they watch one man influence them to make absolute stupid decisions. Vicky Gaynor saved you $1.9 million by paying off a loan that you were paying $21,000 a month on. You wanted to pay $21,000 a month until I didn't graduate from Wharton with President Trump, but I can figure them numbers out, and that don't work. She took your debt from $60 million down to $30 million. If you look around, Lynn Haven is the most desirable location to live in Bay County. I didn't hear nobody from the peanut gallery complaining when Margot and White was rape, robbing, and pillaging this city at the instant of James Finch. You guys have paid him $42 million for what? Every project he's done has had to be redone, costing your taxpayers, your citizens, your constituents money. I say, do the right thing. Thank you.
George Hines, 1603 Rhode Island Avenue, citizen of Lynn Haven, Florida. It's the microphone, ain't me. Anyway, my address is on file. I've been here many times before and talked to you people many times before about the things you're doing in the city. Right now, the charter that we reviewed when you got elected has a position in there for the city manager and assistant city manager. She made one. Over the time she be here, she'll assign someone to that job, and they'll do that job if she get fired. So there's no need to make that motion that he tried to make. It's in the charter. All you need to know.
And for clarity, it is Charter Section 24, and it says, in the absence of a deputy city manager, during the absence or disability of the city manager, the city commission may designate a person properly qualified, and we do have an assistant city manager. So we will be going against the charter to go beyond our assistant city manager at this particular time if we decide to.
So does that specifically say assistant city manager, just says?
Deputy city manager. In the absence of a deputy city manager, during the absence or disability of the city manager, the city commission may designate. It does suggest the commission is without authority to designate a temporary person when you do have a deputy city manager acting.
Okay. And we'll discuss it when we get to that agenda item then.
Jody Moore on Amherst Street, about a mile from here, and also the Beacon of Bay County, Florida on Facebook. You know, just a comment real quick. You know, one of the reasons why Lynn Haven is such a beautiful and nice place to live is because of James Finch. He was a benefactor for years and years. And excuse me, Mayor, I'm addressing you, chairperson of the committee. Will you please enforce the rules that you yourself have set down for both sides, please?
Hold on. Whenever I do enforce the rules, then everyone has a problem with it, which is part of your recall of me enforcing the rules.
You're enforcing the rules. Okay, you're taking my time. I just want to say there have been accusations thrown about lying and racism. If anybody wants to discuss this with me, I'll be in the hallway afterwards. So you can feel free to address those with me. I'll have a conversation with you. I just want to say also regarding Vicki Gaynor, it doesn't even have to do with this issue. I understand the lawyer for the insurance company is doing his job. Number one, you got to think about what's best for Lynn Haven. Is all this chaos and all this going on, is this what's best for Lynn Haven? Maybe the problem needs to go away. I'm not the problem. The citizens who are here are not the problem. Excuse me. The people who are pointing out the problems are not the problem here, okay? There are multiple reasons to fire Vicki Gaynor, okay? Besides this alleged, which the vote today kind of tells me how the conversation went. First of all, Commissioner Warwick has said she won't answer his financial questions when he said that in a commission meeting. She won't answer the questions. She also did not tell the commission about Chief Ramey's hit and run when she should have and waited a month. She waited for it to come out in the media. This building, I think it has a sprinkler system now, but it had an inadequate sprinkler system for a long time. Is that safe? Was that safe for the employees to come in here and work when there wasn't a sprinkler system that was working? Do we have a certificate of occupancy in this building 6 years later? Do we have that? I don't care whose fault it is, whatever. That is the job of the city manager, all right? And I want to know why Vicki Gaynor was still in the building for hours after she was suspended. I also want to point out, because my time is running out, even though I was interrupted, you know what? Somebody who was accused, and she did this on Monday, somebody has accused this commission and the citizens of racism. How can they be falsely accused of racism? How can they be an effective city manager for this city? I want you to ask yourself again, what's right for this city? Thank you.
All right. All right, Assistant City Manager, if you'll call the vote. If we could maintain our decorum, please. We're getting ready to call for a vote. I've already called for the vote. I'm sorry.
So you're denying me the ability to speak on a motion?
We've just called for the vote.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Peoples,
Just to confirm, this is to add the agenda item for what?
Yeah, add it after the discussion of the city manager's employment.
Okay, no.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson.
No. All right, motion carries. Is there a motion to this, in regards to the city manager employment?
Yes, I make a motion to terminate the city manager effective immediately.
All right, is there a second for that motion?
Yes.
All right, there's a motion and second. At this time, we'll open up for public commentary. Please remember to keep your decorum. We'll start with Ms. Miller.
And I have lived in Lynn Haven over 50 years, and I have never witnessed such mess. All you have to do is look around Lynn Haven since Vicki has been city manager and see the improvement. Look where you're sitting. Because of her, we have this building. I was at the dedication when the man from Tallahassee said that Miss Gaynor called him every day for the funds. Look at the parks. Just look around you and not look at the color of her skin, because some of you can only see the color of her skin, not the job that she's doing. And I will tell you, you need to look in your own closet and clean out the hatred that you have in it, because that's what's there. Clean out the hatred. Look at the good in people. None of us are perfect, but some of you are worse than anybody I've ever seen. Thank you.
All right. And with our public commentary, after we have our last gentleman in this line, we're going to go row by row. That way we can see who all wants to make comments. We do have a list, but many of you have come in since then, so we're going to just after we get our line here, go row by row down each side. I guess if I could have an employee to assist me with that, so I know what rows we're on actually with that as well. But we'll start with our line here.
Kim Godwin, Lynn Haven resident. We all woke up today in one of the best cities in this country, and the fact that we are all here in this room is an embarrassment to every resident of this great city. You should be ashamed. Our neighborhoods are clean and safe. We have new sidewalks. Our streets are well maintained. There are beautiful parks for people of all ages, public spaces to see the sunrise and sunset. Police and firefighters come when you call them. We're in a new city hall. The city has triple the amount of money it had 7 years ago, and our debt has been cut in half. This has all happened on Vicki Gaynor's watch as city manager and with Jesse Nelson as the mayor. So what is the difference? What is the difference between them and you? Would it be the content of their character or the color of their skin? After Monday's ridiculous meeting where you put her on leave based off of one man's flip-flopping accusations, a meeting meant to be mean and hurtful and smear Vicki's name, she went back to her office to collect herself. I just happened to walk into City Hall at that time and saw one of you, Mr. Warwick, angrily walking back and forth, stomping across the hallway, looking like you were going to fight somebody. Your 6'3" self stomping to the office of a 5-foot-tall woman who was sitting there trying to collect herself, demanding that she leave the building as if she were a convicted felon or a dog you were trying to put out of your house. I wish her husband had been in her office. Actually, probably best that he was not. But can you imagine a man bullying a woman in your family like that? And then it's my understanding that one of you called to investigate this matter and has refused to even talk to Ms. Gaynor. Question, how do you investigate when talking to only one side? Answer, you don't. Your hate allows you to believe you are judge, jury, and executioner. And I appeal to those of you, though, who have a heart and a sense of humanity today. You know Vicki Gaynor is a woman of integrity who applies the rules of this city to everyone. She is honest and fair, and the same bidding process that we are here talking about applies to everyone. She listens to consultants, gains consensus, consults with this commission, and makes good decisions for all residents of this city. The only people who are upset are the people who believe the rules do not apply to them, people motivated by greed, hate, or dare I say, racism and revenge. Your children, your grandchildren, Almighty God, and the great people of this city are watching you. Will you stand for what is right? Vicki Gaynor deserves to finish her contract as city manager of Lynn Haven and walk out of this building with her head held high. We know that, and you know that. Do the right thing today.
Zach Detweiler. You know, I thought long and hard about what would be said, how we should all think about this. We all have about a week to think about this. And it's not easy when you come across these types of decisions. They're hard. There are many good things that a person can do, and a few bad things can sour the entire apple bunch. I was talking with someone that I've known for about 15 years about something very important to me. And one of the statements I made to him was that I would rather be judged by those I manage than those who manage me. Because if they give me a good report, that means that I was a leader. But if they don't, that means I was insufficient in providing them with the resources necessary to be successful at my job. I've talked to a lot of people in this community, a lot of people in this city that work for this city. Many of them work in fear of making the wrong decision, fear of being yelled at if they question things, fear of even enforcing ordinances that they know to be just, but maybe just not just enough. They are afraid to drive past City Hall because of an inspection that they did. They're afraid to get a traffic ticket to speak up. We've talked to a bunch of people during the recall campaign that were afraid to sign simply because their name was going to be attached to a piece of paper, and they might be persecuted for it, regardless of who it was. At the end of the day, that person who leads the city must be a moral example to everything and everyone. This is the guidance that I found. Where there is no guidance, a people falls. But in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Now, if any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to him. But the wisdom from above, first of all, is pure, then peace-loving, gentle, accommodating, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. I want you all to look at the employees of this city and ask yourselves if they feel safe. Ask them if they feel that they have the ability to do their jobs, and if they don't, you must act. You cannot allow them to be intimidated. You cannot allow things to occur in this city. Okay? You all have a responsibility to those employees. And that is what I think this needs to be about.
I'm Pastor Brad Friday. I technically live in Callaway, but my ministry is here in Lynn Haven. Before I say anything, I'm going to reply to what some of the stuff that the man that just came before me said. One thing about counsel, wise counsel, the counsel that you're talking about is the counsel that comes from God. And that's a righteous counsel that is not subject to public opinion. So one thing that is very important not to do is use scripture to justify an earthly wisdom. The wisdom that comes from God has nothing to do with the wisdom of man. So that must be clear. The thing I want to say, I have a question. The question I want to ask everyone, and this is a rhetorical question, is justice blind? Do you believe that justice is blind? Well, if you believe that, you must utilize justice as the means of determining right or wrong, not public opinion, not a letter that came in the mail, not an email, not anything that comes outside of justice. And one thing that I've seen since I've been in Lynn Haven, I've seen this man attacked, not based on his character, not based on his ability, not based on the things that he's done, as well as Vicky Gaynor, but based on things that have nothing to do with the office that they're fitting. And one thing that we know in the Air Force, your prior Air Force, integrity first. And that's very important. Now, that's something that you cannot discard. How many people in here know Vicky Gaynor personally? Okay, there's a lot of people that don't know her personally. So how can you, there's a personal attacks that have been employed on her and against her. Now, since you don't know her personally, what other judgment other than Jesus in scripture said in John 14:11, he said, if you don't believe me because of who I am, believe me because of my works. And I don't believe, I've seen this man and the work that he's doing. I've seen him present with the works that he's done. I've seen her present with the works that they've done. I don't care how you think about them, what opinion you have about them, look at their works. And if you can't get past their works, there's not something wrong with them, there's something wrong with you. So it's very important. I would hope that, and I came to Lynn Haven from Miami and I love it here, but I've seen some things that are unappealing here with regards to how people deal with people. And I would implore you, Commission, and I would implore you, public, to be just. Don't listen to all of the rigmarole that's coming around about whatever, but be just.
Antonio Bellamy, 604 Hummingbird Street, Lynn Haven, Florida. I bought my first property here in Lynn Haven back in 1999. Young wife, young son, looking to raise a family, not knowing this was going to be a great place to raise a family. So I've raised 4 kids here in this community. I was at the parks when there were houses, where no houses was around the parks. Now there's beautiful communities and beautiful homes around the parks. Pat, we come to your restaurant after basketball games and eat and celebrate. You have always showed me love and respect coming into your establishment. And let the works, look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. There's more money in the budget now than there was before Hurricane Michael. You got the parks that are beautiful. People are working. Now I'm raising grandkids in the same community, coming to Pat's restaurant, getting respect. The numbers don't lie. So what is it? What is it that cause somebody to want to fire somebody when the numbers don't lie? Nobody's stealing money. What is it? I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can say stuff like that when the numbers don't lie. Nobody's taking money. Saving my taxpayers' dollars for my grandkids and my great-grandkids, saving my money, using it wisely. Numbers don't lie. But you want to get rid of somebody who's been passed the torch, have done a great job with the torch that has been passed, and you want to get rid of somebody like that? The numbers don't lie. Jamie, all I ask is just to allow the mayor and the city manager to work out their term. I can understand if the budget was a negative $4 million. Numbers don't lie. But that's not the case. Everybody that voted against to fire the mayor or the city manager need to be on investigation. Every one of y'all need to be on investigation because the numbers don't lie. If it was a negative $4 million in the bank, I'll say they ain't doing a good job because the numbers don't lie. But it's more money in the bank right now than before Hurricane Michael. The numbers don't lie. Pat, you a businessman. You know this not right. The numbers don't lie. Thank you so much for allowing me to live in Lynn Haven and raise my kids, my grandkids, and great-grandkids. Thank you.
Tony Bostic, 159 North Kimbrell. Let's go ahead and, as they say at most business meetings, let's do some housekeeping. Number one, we are actively, as I stand before you right now, initiating a recall for you, Judy Tender, and you, Jamie Ward.
Call to order. Call to order.
Next up, Reverend Friday, Reverend Dr. Wade, and my young brother right here, the youngest of the team, Reverend Rivers, and you, Reverend Nelson. Well, what my man just said here a few minutes ago about he read out of the Bible. Now, one of y'all please correct me if I'm wrong. The Bible says that a liar shall not tarry in his sight. All I'm saying, they used the Bible to justify slavery, and it was still wrong. So getting up here reading a passage from the Bible has no more weight than when Jesus went in the temple and turned over the tables with the money changers, because he read a scripture to support the money changers. We ain't going back. Next up, Mr. Paterno, the young man before me, Mr. Bellamy just talked about the numbers don't lie. Mr. Peoples, the numbers don't lie. Mayor Nelson, the numbers don't lie. Mr. Ward, Ms. Tender, I realize y'all read out alternative books, but the numbers don't lie. And so, I implore you today to make the right decision. You know what the right decision is. Now, the question becomes, has James Finch got to you? That's what your vote will tell us today. You look at who got this started, James Finch. Well, it all got started because Mr. Ward decided to violate a couple Florida statutes, which I will be investigating myself. Now, it ain't over. Ice Cube said in No Vaseline, it ain't over. It ain't over. Just know we ain't going away. We tired of the craziness. We tired of you sitting there saying what you want to and doing as you please. We are here today for a purpose. Either get on board that train or get run over. Thank you.
Michelle Bashir's 811 Louisiana Avenue. My comments today are directed at the 4 commissioners who voted in favor of putting the city manager on leave, not the mayor. Monday morning, this commissioner had the audacity to place Vicki Gaynor on administrative leave. On what grounds? Self-serving deposition of a person making dubious allegations. A witness named as a defendant in a civil lawsuit in which the city is also a defendant. A deposition, the first deposition in a civil lawsuit before judgment was made on a pending dismissal of that lawsuit. A deposition that should have remained private. A deposition that resulted in that defendant in that lawsuit being dismissed as a defendant. Unfortunately, the civil deposition was prematurely released to the commission on Friday. Then a commissioner forwarded the deposition directly to a local social media administrator who then posted it on his Facebook page. It was shared with prejudice and not for transparency. So let me get this straight in my mind. On Monday morning, you had the one transcript, a transcript that had not yet been vetted for its truthfulness, the negative comments from the public, and one implication that a criminal investigation had been called for. So in the hypothetical scale of justice, that is the only weight you had on one side of the scale. On this side of this hypothetical scale, you had 2 attorneys advising you not to take any action on this deposition at this time. Strongly advising you not to take no action because to do so could put the city in a precarious situation in the pending lawsuit. Also on this side, you should have placed the excellent body of work Vicki Gaynor has performed since Hurricane Michael, but alas, you didn't. I also want to remind you of one other thing that should have been placed on that side of the scale. At the strategic planning meeting, the city attorney reminded you as commissioners your duties were legislative, not judicial. That meeting was on July 9th, 2005. 2 days. Oh, I lost my thought.
Thank you.
Ma'am. I'm giving you 30 seconds.
Oh, no, that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Mitch Oakley. 1208 Massachusetts Avenue here in Lynn Haven. I want to say a couple things, not so much about the fire. The fire is going to be up to y'all and your intake from the city. I want to look at my mayor. When adults rise in anger and focus and point, that's the time for you to intercede. We just opened up some bad wounds again. Really stirred them up. We got enough.
So in the past, when I've done that,
No.
Wait, let's.
I know you were called cutting off speech.
Right. In the past, when I've done that,
This is
I've been
probably
told
the
that was
most
not the thing to
charged
do.
meeting I've ever been in. I would encourage the city. There's some eloquent speakers going here, some men of God. My dad was a pastor. I respect that. But we can't stand here and say, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, and he. You can't do that. I would, for instance, these two were addressed. I happen to like chicken salad, and she makes a killer chicken salad. You know, it's just good, but they're all good people here. And I know you've been accused of squashing conversation. Okay? I just want to make everybody just take a little bit of breath, take one in the mouth and out the nose and out the mouth. Okay? And try not to make these divisions any worse than they are, because this is where people get harmed. There's a lot of money at risk here. There's jail time for some folks flying around. You know, it's passionate. It's passionate. So I would encourage you. I'm a Cherokee Indian. If you want to have a talk later on the side about getting screwed, I can talk to you later. But it's I bless the city. That's what I want to say. Bless all the commissioners. Make a good decision. Make it and go with it. If it's for the best of the city, you do it. Okay? You and I haven't always seen eye to eye. I still expect you to drive, don't I? Yes, I do. As long as you're sitting in that seat. Please, community, let's come together and try to be a little nice.
Gay Spakes, 1019 Mississippi Avenue, Lynn Haven. I have been a resident of Lynn Haven all my life. I am a native of Lynn Haven. And Commissioner Nelson, Mayor Nelson, I want to just say one word. The lady that spoke said everything I wanted to say, so I won't waste your time repeating that. But I do have a question for the other commissioners that are sitting on board today. And as we go through this agenda, my question is to you, is Commissioner Warwick the only one that is going to make a motion? Because I've sat here and he's made 2 motions and none of you have said a word. So are the rest of you interested in what's going on and are just going to allow him to make all the motions that are going to be made today? I would like to see some of you, if you're so passionate about this, to stand up and say a word and not let him have all the words to say. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Julie Finch Huggins, 700 Mississippi Avenue. I am here today, and not as a citizen, but as a daughter of someone who gave his heart and his wallet to this city. My father built public restrooms at the park with his own money, funded community fireworks. Because he believed in Lynn Haven. He was later indicted in a federal case tied to the city corruption, and he was found not guilty. Despite that, he's still been punished today. The city manager openly stated to the city engineer that she changed a bid, won my father, fairly won, simply because she didn't like him or because of his past legal battle. That is not only unethical, it's bid rigging. The mayor, excuse me, this is my time. The mayor, who filed for personal bankruptcy before taking office, transferred leftover campaign funds into his church. I don't say this.
That is a lie. Do not say that. That is a lie.
Hey, this is my time.
Stop. That's a lie.
This is my time.
No, you cannot stand up and lie. That's a lie.
Okay. I don't say this to be personal. I say this because we're holding residents. Can you do point of order or whatever, please?
If you would stop lying, we can. So that is a lie.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. If you did not do that, then I will say I apologize.
Everybody gets 3 minutes.
If you did not do that, I will say I apologize.
I make a motion to pass the gavel to the mayor pro tem. You cannot run a meeting
Hold on. Don't yell at me, sir.
I make a motion
Don't yell at me.
to move the gavel to the mayor pro tem.
Sir, calm down. So this is the anger And this
no.
is the
Hey, I'm sorry, it's
emotion
my time.
that we're referring to.
It's my time.
So
Please,
call-
I've just got a little bit left.
Call to order. But to your question earlier, that has been investigated.
Okay, if you're
and the
not,
state
I will
attorney,
apologize to
the
you.
state attorney has already exonerated me of that.
Then-
There's no
okay,
evidence
Then
there.
I will. I'm sorry if I said the wrong thing. And okay, if you're a church, if you got your church here or whatever, if I say I'm sorry to you and I'm looking at you in the eyes, then they should. Then
There's a motion. Is there a second? If not, he needs.
Call to order. Sir, have a seat.
Okay, anyway. Okay. We cannot play politics with people's reputations or livelihoods. We cannot ignore sunshine law violations, backroom deals, or retaliation against residents who served this city long before these seats were filled. I'm asking for transparency, I'm asking for fairness, and I'm asking for accountability. Because if not now, when? Okay, and then also, I would like, pursuant to Article 1, Section 24 of the Florida Constitution and Chapter 119 of the Florida Statutes, is a public records law. I am formally requesting access to the copies of the following public records. 1, all communications, email, text messages, internal memos, and meeting notes between the city manager, city engineer, and any member of the commission regarding any decision to change or cancel a city contract or a bid awarded to James Finch, particularly between the dates from January 2021 to present. I want all bids, scoring documentation, any written or verbal statements, and all campaign finance records, meeting minutes, recordings, or notes. This has already been requested in writing. So I just want you to know, when you have an extra, when you cost the city $300,000 as a city manager, you got a problem. That's wrong. I had a picture right here of all the potholes, and I think we could have probably filled them with that money. And so I just implore you to do the right thing. And this racist stuff, I've never been racist in my life. My dad.
Hey, call to order.
Okay, it doesn't matter what you think, sir. I mean, Mr. Mayor, it doesn't bother me at all. All I know is right and wrong. Black or white does not matter. Race does not matter in this building. And they should be quiet when everybody talks.
Ma'am, do not keep your comments to me.
For everybody. I'm talking about the ones for you or against you.
I understand.
That's what I'm saying. They need to be quiet so we can hear. That's all I'm saying. Not them and not them. I'm saying everybody. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Okay, that's all I got to say. I'm just saying, if
Okay, that's
not
your
now,
time.
when?
That's your time.
Ooh, praise God. Praise God.
If everyone, again, if everyone would please follow decorum, or we will have to stop public commentary and call our vote.
Okay.
So we're trying to give everyone an opportunity to express yourself. I know we are emotionally charged. Many of us are aggravated, upset on either side. I totally understand. But let's maintain, let's follow our decorum, or we will have to cut public commentary and go to the vote.
Mine won't be short, it'll be very short. I moved to Lynn Haven here in April 2018, just before Hurricane Michael. Been here for 7 years. We all stand and say, I pledge allegiance to the flag. And that last verse, justice for all. Remember that, justice for all. That's all people. And she was talking about race. Do you know the definition of race? When you're saying I'm not a racist, look at that definition, see what race means. But the flag, we stand, everybody stand here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And the last phrase, justice for all. So remember that, justice for all, okay?
Jerry Parker, Rhett Place. 98% of you that are sitting here right now have never seen the corruption that has gone on in the FBI, the federal investigation, has not seen what has gone on in this city. I've lived here since 2002. I never went to a commission meeting prior to the hurricane.
After the hurricane, I had problems with a construction company. I started coming and petitioning my government for a reason. Actually got EPCI fired because they weren't doing their job from Lynn Haven. And what's going on here? The heckling, the bullying, the name calling is absurd. I must remind you of the rules that this mayor has put before us: the clapping, the heckling, the name calling, the racist comments. How many times have I been called a racist? A bunch. A bunch. I have come up to this podium. I have a right to petition my government. I have that right. Every single person in this room has that right. But how many of you have come to a commission meeting and spoke up? How many of you sitting behind me have come into this commission meeting and spoken up? 98% of you have not. But you're sitting here trying to berate the rest of the citizens. These are my tax dollars. These are your tax dollars that have been spent. Look at the amount of money that was stolen from Lynn Haven. Look at the amount of money. Do you not know? No, you don't know. You know the reason why you don't know? You know the reason why you don't know? Excuse me, but y'all need to be quiet back there.
Please direct your comments to the chair.
Well, why don't you call point of order, Mayor?
I have called point of order. I have
No,
called
you're
order.
allowing them to heckle. You're allowing them to
You're
do that.
directing your comments to the public. They're going to respond. So
This is
stop directing your
absurd.
comments
They
to
should
the
not
public.
be responding.
Direct your
They
comments
should
to
be,
the chair.
they should be according to your rules, and they're not. You're allowing them to do that. This is the most absurd commission meeting I have ever seen in my entire life. Ever. 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 And what's going on and the comments that are being made are despicable. Absolutely despicable. These people don't know me. These people don't know me. And I don't care about knowing them either. But you don't know. You see what I'm saying,
to
Mayor?
order.
You see what I'm saying? Thank you.
Let's bring down the noise.
JC, Lynn Haven resident. I am a 17-year-old citizen of Lynn Haven. Treated is disgusting. Every day I see dozens of non-blacks on Facebook saying things like, oh, here comes the race card again. So let's remove race for a second. Just look at the facts. According to Suicide Organization of Bay County's suicide rate was 24.6% in 2024, which is significantly higher than the statewide average of 14.1%. I bring this number up to highlight something deeper. Bay County is not filled with love. It's filled with hate, division, and judgment. When I scroll through Facebook and land on pages of people like Jody Moore or Bernie Thompson, all I see is bullying and harassment. When I look at the pages of Mayor Nelson or Ms. Gaynor, I see encouragement, compassion, and professionalism. Let's go back to 2021 when Mayor Nelson first ran for office. He said that he earned a doctorate in leadership. Now, 4 years later, people like Bernie Thompson, Ellen Fields, and others are still using that to bully and mock him. I just graduated high school, and even I can see what this really is. People attacking what they don't understand, or worse, is it jealousy? Mayor Nelson earned his degree from Stellenbosch University, which according to usnews.com ranks among the top 350 universities in the world. So why are grown adults trying to discredit something they probably wish they had? I only watched the city commission meetings online. One of the board's members can scream and yell like a toddler, but the second Mayor Nelson responds, suddenly he's the aggressor. If it's not bullying, then I don't know what it is. I've also noticed something else. People referring to Mayor Nelson and Ms. Gaynor, and I quote, the two black Democrats. First off, Mayor Nelson is nonpartisan. Second, yes, Ms. Gaynor is a Democrat, and so was the other member on this board. Until 2022, where she stated in a Facebook post where she switched from Democrat to Republican. So where's the outrage to remove this member for having affiliation with the Democrats? It's confusing how this city shouts one nation under God while tearing fellow Christians down with hate, lies, and ignorance. Seriously, what version of the Bible are y'all reading? And if you felt attacked hearing this, that means it was probably meant for you. Thank you.
I would like to try to offer some context. I believe we're all here at high noon to bear witness to privilege attempting to slay non-privileged. Let me say again, I believe we're all here at high noon to bear witness to privileged attempting to slay non-privileged. Good afternoon. I'm David Cromartie, 1315 Wisconsin Avenue. 75 years ago, I was born in Lynn Haven with zero privilege. My neighborhood had no privilege. And the schools I attended had no privilege. I wasn't even given privilege to properly be recognized after my high school teammates and I brought home to Bay County his first state baseball championship win, and that was Rosenwald High School, 1966. Nevertheless, I graduated that memorable night in May 1967. Before the sun could come up that very next morning, I was out of here. I was sick of not knowing what it was like to have privilege. So I left to find myself some quote unquote privilege. I landed in the United States Air Force in 1968. In 1972, I volunteered to serve in Vietnam so I could earn myself some quote unquote privilege. It wasn't until 40 years later that I began to feel privileged. At the local Waffle House, where I proudly wore my Vietnam veterans cap, I was given 10% military discounts on my meals. That felt good. And every once in a while, a young white boy or girl would say, "Hey, mister, thank you for your service."
Thank you. That is your time. That's the 3 minutes. Yes, sir.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
My name is Sarah Marler, 711 New York Avenue. I have lived in Lynn Haven all 36 years of my life, and I'm an incredibly proud Lynn Haven resident. Recently, my husband ran for seat 4 and against Ms. Tender, and although he did not win the election, I can say at the end of the day, he ran an incredibly clean and honest campaign. And there is a group on social media that pushes an agenda that called my husband names, that called him a good old boy, that called him a millionaire that we don't want. And they've never had a conversation with my husband. They looked at his donor list and made decisions based off of that. One of which they hated because he spoke. And now that this man has been deposed and has spoken against Miss Vicky, he's their hero. Sam, I grew up with you and went to high school with you and also college. Mayor Nelson, I look at you like a family member. Commissioner Tender, Commissioner Warwick, I don't agree with y'all, but I'm going to respect the position you're in because you were voted into it. At the end of the day, this has got to stop. I love this city, and I want to see my little boy that is 2 years old be raised in the same city that I was raised in. And we are in the best position that we have been in years. After the hurricane, our city was in shambles. My husband and I were considering moving because it was so bad here. So much money was stolen. And now the city is in the best financial position it's ever been in. So I want to ask you all to make a very educated decision, because the lady that also just got up here and was upset that people were commenting on her that didn't know her and how dare they speak about her, she does the same thing to them, but it's censored. So think about the way that the lies are being spread. And it's okay for one side to do it, but when the other side speaks up, it's not okay. I love this city, I love where I live, and I want what's best for it. Make the best decision, please. I'll just say it once again. If there are any lies being told, if anybody wants to point those out to me, or any example of me being a racist, I'll be outside and you can address me outside, okay? I'll be out in the hallway, and you're more than welcome to come and give me
order,
proof.
please.
You know, just to comment, almost, I was thinking about this morning, almost as bad as being a victim of racism, almost as bad as being accused of racism with no proof when you're not, okay? I try to show people the truth. They can look or they don't have to look. And another comment, Mayor, the way you're running this meeting today is another reason why you should be recalled. This is just another clip that belongs on the montage. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Roy Wilson. I preside at my residence is 105 East 17th Street. My family moved to Lynn Haven in 1955. I was 2 years old. Been here ever since. I've seen quite a bit of controversy over those years, but it never came to these heights. I'm not going to comment on who's right, who's wrong, but what I want the commissioner to do is to do as I done. I done a little searching, and I found on the Bay County publications of all their doings. And some of it read this way. It is important to note that commissioners have the right to reject any and all proposals for various reasons, including non-responsiveness, failure to conform to requirements, or if it's deemed to be the best interest of the municipality. That is, I think, what y'all should consider. Why the contract, or why this happened, why. I remember back first of the year I was here standing, and I remember one of you commissioners, I'm not going to name it. Again, Ms. Gaynor was on trial, that's how I see it. He said it was not Ms. Gaynor's decision. It was a recommendation from the commission to fire or not to fire the police chief. It was a recommendation from the commission. I do not believe Ms. Gaynor is the author of any bids or any contracts, literature. She can't do that by herself. Of course, she signed them. Is the author of any bids or any contracts, literature. She can't do that by herself. Of course, she signs it, and she has to take credit for it. She don't write it. I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm not correct. Therefore, what she done, if it was right or wrong, that's not the issue here. It was not her total decision. Am I right or am I wrong? She orchestrated this, if she created this, if she wrote that, she need to take blame. But if she was doing what was a suggestion, or, as we say in the organization I'm in, or is there any complaints with what we want to do? There not being any, decision has to be made. I advise this commission to research the decisions of other commissions in this city who have rejected bid for a cause.
Thank you.
Commission. The thing I want to address isn't so much the job. After the hurricane hit back in 2018, some of you may or may not remember, I ran for seat 1 because I wanted to help rebuild the city, and I won. And I sat there and I worked with Ms. Vicki Gaynor for days and nights and months and years repairing and rebuilding this city. I didn't get to enjoy any of it, by the way. I didn't get to sit in here, even though I helped rebuild it. And one thing I can to come up here and stand up for her for is she is a woman of integrity. She's a woman of honor, and she's not getting any respect whatsoever for the hard work, the 10, 12, 14-hour days she put in right after Michael, all because we want to jump the gun for a legal process. Let the legal process play out and do its thing.
Call to order.
We're going after a woman that anyone that knows her knows she's a good woman. I mean, I live my life, and I know many of you do. I know people in the back behind me live their lives the best of their ability. And we all make mistakes sometimes, but it doesn't mean that everybody on Facebook should get out and call you a name. It ain't right. We're a civil, decent people here. And I tell you one thing, ride down 77 and compare it to before Michael, and what's better? Look at the finances, okay? She's not a criminal. So lay off of her, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Sam. I have been coming to the Lynn Haven Commission meetings for a while now, and I love this city. I have relatives that go back a long time ago, probably 100 years ago, and we love the city. I have a son who lives in Lynn Haven. What I'm up here about to say is this. Because there's a disagreement on how people feel, there should not be the hatred being spewed that is. And I'm telling you, I have a grandson who is half black, and I love him he is my heart. And we are teaching him his heritage of black and his heritage of white, because he deserves to know about both of them. Let me tell you another thing that people aren't going to like. I was raped by a black man. I could have become a racist because of that, but I didn't, because it was not all the black people's fault. Okay? But the racism that I've seen today coming from black people has really broke my heart. I was on Sally Jesse Raphael. Do any of you remember that show? Where the Ku Klux Klan in Atlanta got up there and was talking about black people and this, that, and the other. And I stood up and went forward. And I said, let me tell you what my grandmother taught me. She said, when you stand before God, He's going to look at you and say, you didn't like Chinese, and turn himself into a Chinese. You didn't like white, turns himself into a white. You didn't like black, and he turns himself into black, because God is all of us. All of us. And this should not be a black and white or a racist deal here. It should be about right from wrong and what was done and what was not. And I told those racist Ku Klux Klan that they would be burning in hell for how they feel. So let's stop the racist stuff and just go to the facts and see what was done. Thank you.
Hello, name's Henry Faison. I live in Panama City now. I lived in Lynn Haven for 10 years. I was here during the storm. I was at work at the prison. Stayed out to the prison through the storm, came home. City was tore up when I came back through here. Things, since I moved out of here, out of Lynn Haven, this place has grown. I know one of the reasons is because of Vicki Gaynor. People get up here and stand and talk about racism. It shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be that way. But guess what? It is. It's that way. Y'all can sit around here and talk about, oh, I'm not racist. I'm not this. I got black friends. I got white friends or whatever. It's not about that. It's about treating people right. That's right. And the young ladies that's made the comment, I'll be outside. Where I come from, I take that as a threat. Don't come at me like that. That's what it is. It's a threat. I worked in the prison system long enough for 30 years to know that's a threat. And when they want to get up here and talk about one man that they're talking about that brought along a lawsuit, one man, I could tell you about that man. I know that man since he worked at the John Deere place where the mall is. So don't come in here, his family, his friends, and tell me nothing about how straight this man is. I've been here. When I was a boy at 10 years old, I was working with my dad. We was doing putwood. So all this land in Panama City, we helped clear it off. I've been toe to toe with this man. So anybody that want to back him up, back him up. Because I guarantee you, if he was a regular man like this and didn't have no money, guess what? You wouldn't even be in here right now. That's right. And the thing about it, like the lady said, she's been here so many of these council meetings and all. That's right. You know what? This is the time to stand up when you feel like somebody is being done wrong. I worked at a prison where I was the only, I'm gonna go there, the only black man that was working there at that time. Guess what? I had to stand up for myself. I didn't have people coming in. So that lets you know how much it has grown and how much people have come together. This is what we need, for people to come together in times like this. Thank you for your time.
Johnny Bashir's 811 Louisiana Avenue. As city manager, Vicki Gaynor in all her actions has always had Lynn Haven and our citizens' best interest in her heart and in her mind. I cannot say the same for Commissioners Warwick or Tender, who have placed their personal grudges ahead of Lynn Haven and its citizens' best interest. This proceeding is a prime example. This action has placed the city in a greater position of liability, not less. They've ignored the legal advice of two law firms that are here specifically to guide the commission in how to best avoid these liabilities. Further, by ignoring the legal counsel to our insurer, they have raised the real possibility that the insurer may drop the coverage, since the commission shown the negligence in not following the company's guidelines. Now, as we heard last time, it's unusual for depositions to occur this early in a legal proceeding, one that currently has a motion to dismiss in place. So ask yourself why this occurred. It could very well be that the plaintiff realizes the motion to dismiss may be successful, and if so, they would miss the opportunity to weaponize this to achieve their core goal, which is the removal of Vicki Gaynor from her position. One of their stated reasons One of his stated reasons from his letter to the citizens is that she's a Democrat. Our city charter specifically states that party affiliation is not to be used in consideration for the city manager. Ms. Gaynor's done an excellent job for the city, bringing us back from Hurricane Michael, paying off over half the debt left to us from Margot Anderson days as mayor, and building the city's operating funds from $6 million to $19 million. So why are we here? This is an excerpt from a contract negotiated by Michael White and signed by Margot Anderson. This agreement is made this 9th day of August 2017 by and between the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, hereinafter called owner, and Phoenix Construction Services Incorporated in business as a corporation, and having a business contract and having a business address of 1805 Tennessee Avenue, Lynn Haven, Florida, herein called contractor. I'll skip a little bit more of that, but with the construction of environmental and infrastructure projects within the owner's jurisdiction to include all infrastructure improvements funded in whole or in part by the half-cent infrastructure surtax and other projects the city desires. Each project is to be identified by task order. The term of this agreement shall extend throughout the duration of the infrastructure surtax as it may be extended by the voters. So keep that in mind. It was promised to give Mr. Finch or Phoenix Construction all the infrastructure tax money forever. Ms. Gaynor took the cash cow, put it back in the barn while it was still being milked. That's why we're here. In closing, I will say that Ms. Gaynor has my full confidence and support. It's my hope that she's allowed to continue to work diligently for the citizens of Lynn Haven. Thank you.
My name is Selena Martin. I've been in Lynn Haven since I was 11 years old. So I was here 51 years. And I must say that Lynn Haven has grown up a lot. And I feel that Vicki Gaynor's been discriminated against because she has been doing a good job. And it just is sad that we got to be here today on her behalf because she has been doing a really good job. And I hope she gets to stay in the office. Thank you.
Thank you. Assistant City Manager, if you'll call the vote.
Hold on. I'd like to first have discussion, if that's cool. I'd rather discuss. I mean, there's a big deal. I don't want to go straight to the vote.
Okay. What would you like
I
to
just want to,
discuss?
I want to hear, I mean, we know, I just want to hear from everybody. I want to hear what all of you have to say. I mean, this is a big deal, you know?
So we can start with the one that made the motion and the one that second.
I mean, there's a lot I want to say. Obviously, there's things I can't talk about. I did come to City Hall. I was upset because we made a motion to put her on administrative leave, and she was still here. I didn't go into her office. I went by her office, but I didn't go in her office. I didn't talk to her or anything. That's when I came and found you. We sat down, had a discussion, and it was determined that she was going to be out by 2 o'clock. That's not how it normally works. So I just wanted to bring that up because I know that was talked about.
Can I clarify a fact, though?
Go ahead.
Is that the reason you didn't talk to her is because I was in her office praying with her when you stomped in. So if I was not in the office, you would have talked to her.
That's fine. That's fine. But normally, if you look at how any organization works, when they put someone on administrative leave, you're not there very long and you have to leave. And that's the reason that's set up that way is to have safeguards in place. That's why.
Right, and I do understand.
That did not happen that way.
But we didn't give direct.
Like, why you put her on
I don't mind
administrative leave?
it. I want to interrupt you too because this goes on a
I'm
while.
sorry.
And I was out in the hall,
Yeah,
so
right.
I didn't know when the line ended, so I had to run in. First of all, I have a heart condition, and that's why I'm not usually at these meetings. But I have watched from my home. I have seen what you're doing. The lawyer on that conversation said, leave it alone. He told you all to leave it alone. But one of you would not stop. And one of you egged him on. As you have egged on a lot of people that come up here week after week. You know who you are. You're going to be outside. Yeah, with your little newspaper. That's right. Mr. Warwick, you came into something you knew nothing about. Vicki Gaynor worked tirelessly on this city when it was falling apart. And that mayor, who also wants to recall you, Mr. Nelson, has it up on Facebook on the beacon. Yes, it's there. That's what they want. They've been pushing it. Now, one time, Ryan Scray, let me tell you, I said something to you on Facebook, and you came back to me messenger, but I also got another message from some Gap Parker, who really basically was saying just how pitiful a human being you were. I never responded to her because I didn't want to open myself up to more messages. Because I know how that works. If I accept that message, I accept that person. I don't accept that person. And that proved to be a good decision for me week after week after week when I see this mess. We didn't have a tree in this town. I had 38 taken down in my yard. They were all out, not because I cut them, because the storm did it. My home was destroyed. I was out of this city for 2 years. 2 years. 2 years I'd drive from Niceville to here to get into that damn office over there, that little teeny office you got people in, and they didn't know what they were doing. Under who? I wonder who that mayor was. And then that mess started, and who got stuck with it all? White left. The mayor left. And Finch, I'm sorry, he's been in trouble with the EPA. You should look him up. He's been in trouble with a lot of people. Just a lot of people. All you got to do is look his name up. Phoenix Construction, James Finch. They even put in there about he doesn't follow rules.
That is our time. Thank you.
I may be out of time, but I don't give a damn.
That is our
I
time.
pay taxes here, and I'm going to say it. What you have
order.
done to Vicki Gaynor is wrong.
Call to order.
Good afternoon. I'm Sharon Sheffield. You might know me as former mayor, former city commissioner. I am so disappointed in the city now. And I used to tell everybody coming into this county looking for somewhere to live, go to Lynn Haven because it's the best place to live. And I still say that because one monkey don't stop no show. Some of you have been here a long time, and I don't think anybody's been here as long as I have. I'm 83 years old. I've been here, I've done things, and I want to do more things, but I want the right things to be done. And as I sit here, and I sat here and I listened to people having hate, there is hate all over this world now, and we shouldn't want to be a part of it. I lost a son down in the waters here in Lynn Haven. The city came to my rescue to help me find my son. If that wasn't love, I don't know what is. You come together because, as the mayor states in his message to us, we're better if we are together. If we fight, everything breaks down. And I'm getting ready to send a message to the city of Panama City, the city of Panama City Beach, Callaway, any of them, that this is the best place in the world. And I'll tell anybody that. You know I love you. I thank you for taking that seat with Mr. Albritton, because he's a good man. And I asked him when he said he was stepping down, no, you're not. He says, I have to. But you are good, and I won't call you a man, a good boy. Stick together, people, and forget the hate. Be that city and that person of one that says, I am a good person.
Thank you.
I love y'all. I don't like some things you do and say. But I am going to heaven when I die.
Thank you.
And I want y'all to be there with me, but if you're not there, it's your fault.
Commissioner Ward.
I mean, I don't know what else I can say because I can't really say much.
But we're here, so.
No, I mean I've done my interviews. I've asked probably about 40, 50 questions. But I don't want to go into specifics on any of them. So.
And I do understand it. I'm not trying to force you to. I think we were already past that when we did this on Monday to protect the city from litigation. We're past that now. So we're here to discuss your motion.
I don't have anything else to say. I mean, I'm not, this isn't about color. I know a lot of people brought that up. It had nothing to do with color. And that's all I'll say.
Right. Commissioner Tender?
Yes. I wrote a statement that I would love to read, if that's okay. And I want to first say the 17-year-old girl that looked at me and smiled and said, Democrat, I have always been a person that voted for the candidate. I voted for Obama. And I switched and went to Republican to vote for Brian Cloudis. And my friends that are Republican know that I'm a Democrat at heart. And they know that I will switch in a heartbeat if it's so be. And Mayor Sheffield, I have utmost respect for you. And I thank you. When I first came on board in 2017, I came to visit you. You were so gracious. And I know you were speaking from your heart. And so was I. And I've always appreciated you for that. A couple of other things that might be important and might not be important to some. At 75 years old, I'm the oldest commissioner on the Lynn Haven Commission. I was on the commission when City Manager Vicki Gaynor was hired by Joel Schubert. And I believe she was originally hired as a grant writer. And that was April 3rd in 2017. Vicki and I met at a meeting that was with City Manager then Joel Schubert, where I was defending the actions of an HR director. They ended up firing her because they didn't want to listen to what she had uncovered, but nonetheless. She had discovered that the city of Lynn Haven was not paying women the same as their male counterpart. And then I looked over at Vicki and I said, and we don't pay blacks as much as we pay whites for the same job. And she looked at me and I was shocked. She was shocked as well. And I have to say that that little meeting we had, July of that year, Vicki got a $9,000 raise. And I don't even know today if those things have been upgraded. And if they haven't, it's a shame. I mean, some of the things we heard at the budget meeting, and I'm a big proponent of this, I think the employees are our greatest asset, and they are in any business. We have fire/EMT, people that are making $16 an hour. If they come to your house and pick you up off the floor and save your life, $16 an hour, they can be working at McDonald's and make more than that. Anyway, so I'm a big proponent of the employees. Over the years, I should say, I've seen Ms. Gaynor's attitude towards our city employees. She's become extremely controlling. And I think if you hooked up electricity to every one of them and put them in a room and said, is this true? Is she micromanaging? Is she telling you what to say? Is she telling you what not to say? I'll bet you every one of them, if they lied, they would be electrocuted, because I'm being told otherwise than that. I just feel like my decision was based on a couple things, and it hasn't anything to do with what you're all talking about there. My decision was based on her abilities, her behavior, and her choices. And we all base everything we do on our abilities and our choices. So I will always fight for the employees, number one. And I think we need to look at that, because we're only as good as they are. We've lost a lot of employees, and we need to regain them back. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Commissioner Peoples.
Can I go, sir?
All right, this will be our last public commentary. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I'm Terrence Brunson. I'm 1504 Louisiana Avenue. I'm a resident, long time. We moved here in '68. My father was military. I'm military. My question to all the commissioners is, why are we here? Why are we here? If numbers mean everything in this whole world, why are we here today? Why are we here today? If we're not talking about theft and you don't have judicial powers, why are we here? Someone answer me? I mean, you guys are our commissioners. Why are we here? I mean, I was an NCO for a number of years, and I can't tell you the number of soldiers that hated me. Didn't like my style of leadership. So, I mean, leadership has nothing to do with it. If you are hired for a job to manage, you manage. Mm-hmm. Your job as a manager is to make calls that a lot of people that will not like. Mm-hmm. Your job as a commissioner is to make proposals that a lot of people that don't like. But if you hire a person to be a manager, let them manage. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Commissioner Peoples.
So I gotta be real. I'm a little torn. So I'd like to hear from everybody first, because I'll just, like, for example, I'll just say Ms. Gaynor has done a great job. The debt, when I ran for office, some of the main things I cared about was stormwater, debt, tax base, and she has done an excellent job at that. Myself and her have had a good working relationship. And I do think she's a good person. But through our investigation, there has been some things that have come to light. I can't talk about all of it, but some of it has been alarming. But she has done a lot of great things too. And I do want to hear from the other commissioners, but I do have a creative solution, I think, is that for respect out of her and other people that I've talked, I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to say anything about anyone. But I will say, like I said, in the investigation, there has been some alarming stuff. I think a good solution would be, we do have an FDLE review underway. We do have the litigation. I stand by my vote on Monday. I stand by that. I stand on the vote yes. I do feel like we should have talked to those people, got more information for ourselves. But based on what I know, I think the right thing to do would be that while the litigation and FDLE review is going on, we should suspend her until it's done without pay. However, if she is found innocent, we reimburse her that money. That way, if she is found guilty, the taxpayer did not pay her salary. But if she's innocent, she gets reimbursed. I feel like that's the fair way to do it. Like I said, I don't want to presume innocence or guilt on anything legally, because that's not my place, and I'm not going to talk about that deposition to anybody. But there has been some other things that I do think that my solution is the right thing to do. I know that there's no way to please everybody. It's very, very clear. Yeah, I mean, guys, this has been hard.
I'll say this. The thing I will agree with Commissioner Peebles on, yes, she has done great things for the city. You can look at my evaluations, and I document that on my, you know this. I'm very thorough on her evaluations, and I am very honest with her. And if, especially my last one, you look at my last one, I marked her down in quite a few areas, but I do give her, I do think that she has done great things for the city. But you have to do what's best for the city. So I will agree with you on that.
All right, Commissioner Perno.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. I've known Vicki as long as any of us up here, and she was interim city manager when I came on board in 2019. And I've worked with her, and I've seen what the city's done over that time, and I love Lynn Haven. I love the people in this room for what you stand for. Sheffield, thank you for everything you've done, and every time you come and speak, we hold you in the highest regard. I just want you to know that. But just as Commissioner Peebles feels like he does, I'm torn. I didn't want to do investigative interviews, but we set it up that way. But I learned some things, and I got to talk to some other people, and I mean it's hard. It's hard to be up here right now making a decision on someone's future. I like your idea, but we have emotion. I don't know where we're going to go from there. So
got it. I think any motion besides a motion to, after me sitting in the interviews. I did interviews as well. After sitting in those interviews, and then after being in meetings in 2021, because I was also in meetings in 2021, in which we discussed bids and such, that any motion besides a motion to end the city manager's paid administrative leave and to return to work on 7/21/25 is egregious. That's my perspective, that any motion we make besides that motion, I hear the motion to terminate, I hear the motion to suspend without pay until the FDLE review is completed, until this case is resolved. Part of the issue in resolving this case is that every time we file a motion for dismissal, they turn around and make another claim. I believe this is our fourth motion for dismissal.
There are at least 3 that have been filed, and we have been put on notice that they are about to amend their complaint again.
So it's the lobbying back and forth. This is not the first time we as a commission heard about this. This came to us in August of 2021. If there was an issue or concern then, we should have addressed it. Vicki Gaynor, city manager Vicki Gaynor, did not decide to rebid the project. We did. All 5 of us, except Commissioner Peebles, Commissioner Aldridge was here. All 5 of us decided to rebid the project. When we read the notes, it goes back to the minutes. When I went back and looked at the minutes, I don't know if you all reviewed the minutes that we were given. Commissioner Tender, you left, so I don't know if you got your packet. But in that packet that we were supposed to get from CJ after we had our interviews, in that packet was the minutes from those meetings where it was confirmed, even by staff, that every project was, or even the lowest bid was $1 million over budget. So I hear people saying, I heard someone say earlier, we cost, Ms. Gaynor cost the city $300,000. How? Yes, Phoenix Construction was $300,000 less than the next highest bidder, but his $300,000 bid, as I understand it, is what was told to us, even from my interviews, was still $1 million over budget. $1 million over budget. So it doesn't matter about if you can buy a paver. And if with those changes, Vicki Gaynor did not direct those particular changes. She relied on her staff. She relied on the engineering consultant who made recommendations to change it to 75%, who made recommendations that whatever recommendations and changes were made were recommended by them. So she didn't make those recommendations. There's not a cooperation on her part or some collusion to restrict Phoenix Construction. If I also understand what bid rigging is, and city attorney, help me if I'm wrong, bid rigging is to set up a bid in such a way that only one contractor is able to get the bid and not to exclude one particular contractor. Let's sit up and let's be real. If a man has enough money to fly a plane for recall over the city of Lynn Haven on the 4th of July parade, he has enough money to buy a paver. So there was nothing done to restrict Phoenix Construction from making the bid. And let's be honest about it. If we really go back and look at the history of this, and Commissioner Peebles was not here, and a couple of months later, in November, Phoenix Construction came back. Jake's Landing. There was nothing that, if Lynn Haven city manager Vicki Gaynor had a vendetta against James Finch, she would have been restrictive and she would have tried then to block him from even getting his land development order done. You weren't here for that. So it's there in the minutes, it's there in the notes. August, we make a decision to rebid. Phoenix Construction sends us letters. It goes to our attorneys. Our attorneys said we did nothing illegal. Did we do anything illegal by making these changes to the contract and requirements for the bid? Our attorney said we did nothing illegal. We did nothing illegal. I asked that
same question.
Right. So we did nothing illegal. So we're here. She didn't do anything illegal. Nothing was done illegal. And if there's a vendetta, I'm going to get you in all areas, not just one. If there's a vendetta, Why didn't this vendetta continue 3 months later when we came back with another development order from Jake's Landing? And I remember in those discussions, you said, Commissioner Warwick, you told Ted Shope as he stood there as we were in those pre-commission meetings that the corruption must stop.
No, I didn't say corruption.
You said we can't play those games anymore. Right. I'm paraphrasing, right?
Yeah. So there was a dispute between him and the city manager, and I'm like, okay, do you have it in writing? He was like, no. I said, then it never happened.
It never happened. So my point is, if there's a vendetta, if there's some sense of the city manager is trying to intentionally go after James Finch, then why didn't we do that when Jake's Landing came up? Why didn't we do that when Jake's Landing came up? Why was even when we talked about James Finch, let's put it all out, even when we talked about James Finch, his relatives came to me asking me how I was going to vote on that project. And I said, I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to vote. Came asking me, hey, what are y'all going to do? We're going to do what is right by the ordinances. We're going to do what is right by this. If we have this vendetta against Mr. Finch, he was told to stop contacting us while he was under indictment, and we continue to receive emails and letters from him when he was restricted to do so by a judge. Let's be honest about it. The reason we are here is because in February, we all decided to pay off, Commissioner Tender wasn't here, we all decided to pay off a $4+ million loan that we owed to not Phoenix Construction, but James Finch.
From the ARPA funds.
From the ARPA funds.
ARPA funds, yeah.
We're going to pay that loan $21,000 plus a month went to the James Finch Trust Fund, not the Phoenix Construction. $21,000 plus a month until the year 2047 was going to the JF Trust Fund. When we all decided, instead of it being a 30-year payment, to pay it off in 10 years to reduce our overall length of indebtedness for the city, then there are attacks against us for that. But the funny part about it, no one came up here and attacked you for that. We all voted on it. I believe we all voted yes to pay off this debt in 10 years, which was 30 years. But no one attacked us for that. No one attacked you all for that. Instead, Ms. Gaynor and myself were told that we were mismanaging funds because all of us voted to pay off a $4 million plus loan, which saved us over $1 million. We're here because you all are being supported by this person. You may say that you're not in letter. He says he endorses you. You have not denied the endorsement. He says he endorses you. He endorses her. So we are here for a vendetta. We're not here for...
I'll even say this for the record, okay?
Okay.
He offered to give me money for my campaign, and I turned him down. I didn't want his money.
He can only give you $1,000, so you don't need $1,000.
I didn't want it.
That's all he can give you is $1,000. But I want us to be real about why we're here. We're not here because of a deposition. We are here because there is a vendetta from the other side to come and to try to destroy the integrity of a woman that is upheld with honesty and righteousness. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. So when what is my stance on it after what I heard on Wednesday, after what I said and heard after I had discussion with the attorneys, I can't in right mindset or even in right consciousness say that we should even suspend her. For me, the only motion that matters is there's a motion to end the city manager's paid administrative leave and to return to work on 7/21/25. That's it. Call to order. Call to order. That's the only motion that makes sense. Because for me, a lot of it is he say, she say. But from what I was told, everybody in my interviews, all of them agreed that she was not the one that came up with the adjustments. She was not the one that came up with the differences. And I know it's too late for us to try to hide behind litigation now and say we're not going to talk about what happened in the interviews because we're here, right? And so we're here. So that's what I got from my interviews is that everybody agreed that she was not the one that said, do these particular things. They all agreed that the person in the deposition was the one that said it. Now, it was also said that Vicki Gaynor's objective, whatever it is always to do what's best in the interest of the city of Lynn Haven. Always. So to me, that's the only motion that makes sense. Assistant City Manager, if you call the vote.
Is this a vote? Is this a vote?
This is the vote for the
three different motions.
Well, we only have one motion and second that's on the floor, and that's to what's the motion and second that's on the floor? To terminate. That's the only one that we have as a motion and the second on the floor now is to terminate.
I feel like this is important though, because I'm not finished talking about it. And with the stuff that I've learned, I want to give Miss Vicki the benefit of the doubt, but I can't in good conscience continue just act as if we can just go on as normal. So to me, the only options are terminate or suspend and reimburse with pay. And I don't want to I don't want to fire her.
Okay, well, we're trying to take a vote now.
All right,
Call to order.
Well, you're going to have to choose because my vote is either for termination or suspension.
Okay, right now, wait. Right now, the motion on the floor is for termination.
All right, well then I'm requesting that we have an agenda item after tentative to this one so that I can vote on that one too.
We have a motion on the floor that we have to vote on right now.
Okay, are you going to adjourn the meeting as soon as it's over?
No. We have to follow the motion that's on the floor. We have to follow the motion that's on the floor right now.
So if it doesn't,
Assistant City Manager, call the vote.
Commissioner Warwick.
Yes.
Commissioner Tender.
Yes.
Commissioner Peoples.
Motion on the floor to terminate City Manager Vicki Gaynor.
No.
Commissioner Perno.
No.
Mayor Nelson.
Call to order.
Mayor Nelson.
All right, now I want to make a motion.
I have not made my vote.
Oh, sorry.
Mayor Nelson.
No, motion fails. I pass the gavel to make a motion to end the city manager's paid administrative leave and return to work on 7/21/25. You have to call for a second.
All right, do I have a second?
You're all right, Sam. You're all right, brother. We got you.
Call for another second.
All right, is there a last chance for a second? All right, motion dies, so I guess I move it back to, give the gavel back to you. I was a mayor for like 20 seconds. All right. I would like to make a motion that the city manager is suspended without pay until the FDLE review is done and the litigation is done. However, if she is found innocent on both accounts, she is reimbursed in full. That includes her allowance, that includes all of her benefits.
I would also, if you're pushing for that, I would prefer that we do it with administrative leave. If you don't agree with administrative leave, I would also like to add that we reimburse her for whatever attorney expenses that she's incurring because of this. And the reason Commissioner Peoples, the reason I say that is because
That will be decided in the court, sir.
I get that, but we're the reason it's going to court because we're the ones that started it. So the reason I'm saying about the reason I would like to make the reason, again, if you would not like to amend the motion that she would have paid administrative leave, I would like for you to consider amending the motion to cover her attorney fees. Hear me on this, is because if it was something that was criminal, even in the civil aspect, with it being reviewed, it should have already been raised to the criminal level. It was the city that in turn said that it was possibly criminal. Therefore, we are costing her as the city these attorney fees that she's incurring now. Not something that was filed against her by another jurisdiction or by another attorney judicially. So if we're not, again, I would just encourage us to, if you want to do the I would encourage paid administrative leave and or amending to cover her attorney's fees in addition to the reimbursement that you're stating.
Mayor? Mayor? Now, her attorney's fees, I was under the impression that our insurance would be paying for that. No?
Currently, in regards to the FDLE investigation, which was initiated by the city, according to because of the FDL investigation, she now has a criminal attorney.
Okay.
She has a criminal attorney now because of us in following through on this action in regards to the FDLE review investigation, which I would assume that if it was something criminal, that even in the civil litigation, that it would have already been raised to a criminal aspect doing their review of all of this, if there was something that was criminal that was actually done. And so since we as the city have taken it to that level, I think it is only right that if we're going to, again, if we're not going to give her paid administrative leave, whether it's paid administrative leave and or not paid administrative leave, I think we should amend the motion to include covering her attorney fees if she's brought back to work.
I would say I can agree to that if we're only talking about the criminal side of things, because our insurance is covering the.
Correct. I'm only referring to the criminal side.
All right. That's fine. Okay, so I want to be very careful in this motion then. I would like to motion that the city manager be suspended without pay until the FDLE review is over and the litigation is over. If she is found innocent on both accounts, she will be reimbursed in full. The city will cover any lawyer fees on the criminal side if she is found innocent. Okay? I also would like to, within that motion, since she is suspended, she is not to have any city devices. She is not to contact any city staff. If she's innocent, great. I want her to be innocent. But if she's not, we need to protect during that time. I think that's the right thing to do. We have two different investigations. Let those people make that decision because that's what they're paid to do. So that's my motion. I'll say it again. She is suspended without pay until the FDLE review is done, until the litigation is over. If she is found innocent, she will be reimbursed. If she is found guilty on either account, she will be terminated. If she is found innocent, she will be reimbursed in full to include all of her benefits. If she is found innocent on the criminal side, the city will be responsible for reimbursing the attorney fees. And which will be a lot, by the way, I would imagine. And then finally, she is not to contact city staff during that time. She is not to have a city device.
Would you add that the assistant city manager would be acting in her stead?
I believe that was by default already the case by our last motion because it died on the floor, right?
Okay.
You will have an absence of the city manager rather than a termination.
Right, but I want clarity on who's going to be acting in that.
Yeah.
I don't do it next. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't even think there's an action that needs to be taken
Okay.
on that.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be part of your motion.
Yeah, I believe that by default, Jennifer would be there during her absence.
So if she's guilty, she doesn't get reimbursed attorney fees, is what you're saying?
If she's guilty, she does not get reimbursed, correct?
All right.
It's if she's innocent,
Want
she
to make
does.
sure everyone's clear on
Yeah.
that.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I just want to add one small thing, because this is very important. I think her health insurance should still continue.
Yes.
No matter what, it should still continue. And then if she's found guilty, then she can pay that back or whatever, I don't know. But I think they should have health insurance.
I am good with that. And
right.
dental or whatever, all of her insurances.
All right, so a motion has been amended for that. Is there a second for this?
I'll second.
All right, there's a motion and second. All right.
Johnny Bashirs, 811 Louisiana. So, two things. If you put her back in as city manager right now, what are you afraid she's going to do that's going to cost the city in the future? That's the decision. What are you afraid she's going to do that's going to cost the city in the future? The second thing is there's two forms of litigation, as you're well aware, civil and criminal. To me, if it's criminal, that's a lot higher problem than if it's not. It's also a lot shorter legal process than a litigation that can go on for years. If you're going to do that, I would say just put it on the legal side. Or on the criminal side, if she's found guilty criminally, yeah. But if she's not, or it's dismissed, or they review it and say there's no charge to be filed, reinstate her then. Don't leave her out of office for the rest of her life, because you know how this litigation is going to go. Thank you.
Would you like to amend the
Yeah,
motion?
so that's a good point. On the litigation side, it could take forever. I do think that if we do this, we need to put a time frame of that we need to reevaluate. So I would say if it becomes 60 days, then we need to reevaluate this. Again,
Say 30 days,
30
or
days.
really 2 weeks. I mean, the FDLA review should be underway. So,
I'll meet you at 30.
so let's put a more definite date on it in regards, let's say a commission meeting, so we can actually have it on the agenda. So let's say the August 12th commission meeting. The August 12th commission meeting, and/or if the review is completed by FDLE before then. So we can have another special commission meeting if the review is completed before August 12th.
Let's do the second meeting in August.
Okay, unless there's a FDLE.
Unless FDLE is completed and we can make a decision then.
All right. So you've amended. Pat, do you second that? Are you in agreement with that amendment?
So we're putting a time frame on it till we reconvene on it?
Right, that we'll rediscuss it the second meeting in August, unless the FDLE review is completed before
I'll
then.
second that.
All right.
Tony Boston, 159 North Kimbrell. Tell me that you've been compromised without telling me you've been compromised. You just sat there and voted not to fire her. Now you want to make a motion and get a second to suspend her without pay or to get rid of her. Tell me you were compromised without telling me you're compromised. Wait a minute. I don't really need your response. I got this. You can't sit there and tell me that this makes sense in nobody's world. This is stupid on 9 different levels. You say we've been doing this because of race. What else is left? I'm going to give you a quote from Mr. Spock, since y'all Star Trek fans out here. When you eliminate the impossible, whatever is left, however improbable, therefore must then be the truth. And the truth has come out today. This was never about the numbers. It was never about Vicki's ability to do the job or her current actions of doing the job. This was about one man's personal vendetta with her. This was based in race. It wasn't based in gender. It wasn't based in anything else. And I don't care who says what, because Tony Bostic stands 10 toes down on what he says. Now, you sat there and just voted no not to get rid of her, to terminate her employment. So if you voted not to terminate her employment, in whose mind does it make sense to turn around and make a motion to suspend her? Well, not everybody's mind has a full functioning cognitive system, but that's beside the point. You guys, you can't have it both ways, Mr. Peoples. You can't have it both ways. The only thing people have gotten up here, 90% of the people stood before you today, is to do they didn't ask you to recreate the universe. They asked you to do the right thing. That's all we asked, was you to do the right thing. And you sit there and you have this appearance of, oh, it's troubling my soul. It ain't troubling your soul a bit in the world, because if it was, when you voted no, the next motion would be to adjourn. Mr. Perno, I thought better of you and Mr. Peoples. Now, Mr. Ward and Miss Tender, I already knew y'all, so that snake ain't gonna bite me. That snake ain't gonna bite me. But I actually thought, Mr. Peoples, you and Mr. Perno had better in you. I prayed that you had better in you. Sometimes, when you put too much faith, as they say in the military, when you get an award there, Mr. Brad, faith, confidence, fidelity, and trust. When you put too much of that in a person, you see what happens. I hope you can sleep with yourself tonight. Thank you.
Corey Lane for 1112 Louisiana. You got talked into something with these whole litigation fees. You guys are about to enter into a treacherous water here. I wish the city attorney would have spoken up and warned you about this. Here's the thing. The motion on the floor is with a determination in the criminal suit of innocent or guilty. That's what the litigation fees are tied to. No one's talked about the fact of the criminal investigation could end in neither of those. I'm no attorney, but this is probably a time where you need to speak up and say, hey, there's an instance here to where FDLE may choose to not prosecute after discovery of months of it. Litigation, lawyer fees have been racked up for months. There's no innocent, we're not guilty. All right? That's why you got talked into this, and it's dangerous. You guys are about to sign the city up for some bill because you're doing something outside of what you should be doing, okay? Make a decision. You all have done the interviews with individuals. You know what was discussed. We don't, all right? I'm not going to sit up here and say one way or the other. What I'm concerned about is the process. I've heard people say, well, you got to wait for this whole thing to be done before you can act. That's not true. It is absolutely not true. Let me give you a hypothetical example, all right? A school teacher, and this is extremely sick, but it happens in America every day. A school teacher gets accused of having child pornography on their computer. Do you think if that happened in Bay District schools that Mr. McQueen should say, well, we got to let them teach 8th grade math until we figure out whether or not they're guilty or not? No. That person would be removed faster than you could blink an eye. Make a decision based on what you all found out this week, and let's press on. All right? The sun, God willing, the sun's going to rise tomorrow. Okay? And we're going to have some reflecting to do. Whichever way y'all choose to go today, it don't matter. All right? Well, we're going to have to peel this onion back and figure out where we could have done things better. We've seen this movie play out. It just happened not long ago with the whole Ricky Ramey incident. There was an employment decision based on that, and I'll say it was absolutely fumbled, 100%. The city was in an uproar for months because people said, we're not going to do anything. We gotta wait and let this thing play out. You don't have to do that. Make a decision today. That's what we elected you for, and that's what we expect.
Sarah Marler, I just wanted to say the topic of the meeting today was for, are we terminating Miss Vicky or are we bringing her back? Y'all voted on bringing her back. Whatever came to light in those interviews, whether your eyes were opened to whatever it might be, there's an HR process put into place that is not going to cost the taxpayers likely millions of dollars. This could go on for years. It could, even criminally, it could go on for years. And if Miss Vicky is as smart as I know she is, she's gotten a bulldog attorney. And guess what? We're gonna be out. And I know my husband, when he was running, was accused of being a millionaire, but we're not. And every penny in our house is counted. And we don't have all this extra money to be throwing in. So everything that Miss Vicky has saved us is fixing to be thrown out because of bogus lies. Y'all just sat up here and said, and Mayor Nelson said, y'all substantiated in the interviews nothing criminal was done. And we voted to bring her back. Now, the civil thing's been going on since 2021. So if you're going to look at it criminally, yeah, city did open that can of worms, and I'm still not sure why. But we did. Don't cost the taxpayers more money. And don't lose the money that Miss Vicky has saved us. Y'all want to complain about roads? Yeah, they're awful. Guess what? Put it into the roads. Put it back into our parks. Put it into our concerts in the park for our family. Let her come back to work and do her job. And if there's an HR process in place, let it do its job.
Call to order.
Zach Detweiler. Y'all have put yourselves in a very precarious situation. This lawsuit, very many people are aware of, does not just have one named defendant. It has two at this moment. There's a defense attorney hired, and to my understanding, that defense attorney sat in on these HR reviews and heard depositions given by those employees. Am I false in those accusations? Was anyone from that law firm present at any of your meetings? If so, what defense was given to the employees of this city that were giving testimony?
No one was under oath.
Yes, because it was an HR matter, and no lawyer from someone who is a named defendant should have been in that room. You want to talk about risk and liability? You guys need to start making smart decisions as a commission. Give them good legal advice, because this matter is going to get worse if you continue to go down these paths. Y'all need to figure out what you want to do, and you need to act upon it. But to continue whatever circus this has turned into on both sides, and don't give me the mm-hms in the back, it's both sides. Y'all need to make a choice, and you need to do it quick. There's a liability that runs with doing nothing. And remember, it's not just about one side or the other. It's not just about this event. Was there discrimination or harassment given in the workplace? Find that out. Go talk to the employees of this city. You really want to do an investigation? They will tell you. You want to find out if it's a toxic workplace or not? Go find out. You want to find out if it's a toxic city? If people really are afraid of being arrested for inspecting the wrong building, or, getting a traffic ticket, or their families pulled over, or false evidence being given against them and having to spend their own capital for criminal defenses, to be only found innocent and then sue the city in multiple lawsuits. You guys are responsible to mitigate those risks. I want you to get briefed on every single lawsuit that is being civilly brought against this city. And I want you to go back and I want you to really think about the commonality in all of those lawsuits. I want you to go and investigate. Do these employees feel safe? Because 3 directors leaving, a 4th one on the way out, and potentially even more following that, your city will be crippled in a matter of weeks.
Do we have 3 directors leaving?
We had one that just retired.
Hold on, let's get a point of clarity. Statement was made that 3 directors are leaving. Do we have 3 directors leaving?
We had one retire, Amanda Richard.
Okay, so there's not 3 directors leaving.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
James Barker. I just have a question because I was listening to Mayor Nelson, and what he said was that he implicated each and every one of y'all in this proceeding. So now, she didn't do anything without y'all approval. So now y'all are here judging her, the one that gave her the approval to do everything that you accuse her of doing. So I was just wondering, are you going to suspend yourselves? Are you going to withhold your money? Because everything that he said, you gave approval to. Nothing was done undercover. All this corruption, you were right there. You voted on it. So now if you voted on what you're accusing her of, are you going to suspend yourself? Are you going to take your pay? It doesn't make sense. Instead of standing behind your vote, you're looking for a scapegoat. You're looking for a scapegoat. That's all. When you can own up to your own mistake, just say the city made a mistake. Don't try to blame one person for what all y'all did. Every one of you voted for it. So what's the problem?
I was not here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And I'm the one that made the motion. I just want to make that clear. It's my motion.
The reason I'm saying that because it has been pointed out that those that were here, those that was in chairs that they're sitting in right now, not in this building, but in another building, but those that were sitting in the commission seat, and some of you were here, agreed to everything she has been accused of. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You know, you're afraid. You are afraid to be the man and woman that you're supposed to be. You're just afraid. You're afraid you'll get voted out of office. Let me tell you something about office. Your office don't mean anything without integrity. I don't care how long you stay in office. I don't care how long, I don't care how many votes you get. If you don't have integrity, you don't have anything. You just got a position. But I remember when somebody said something about going to heaven and hell. A lot of people don't believe in hell, but I do. And I believe in heaven. And I can't put nobody in hell, and I can't put nobody in heaven. But you can put yourself in hell, and you can put yourself in heaven. You need to choose what's right. Do what's right. That's all we're asking. Do what's right. Thank you.
I had to condense my words, and I really have to condense my words because a pastor, when you give a preacher a platform, he might go long, a lot over 3 minutes. 2 things. I've heard a lot about HR. Where is HR? Why aren't they present? Where's their voice? If there's a lot of allegations that are being made with regards to how a supervisor, a manager handles their people, okay, show the records of HR. Show the complaints that were put into HR. If you can't do that, that's he says, she says. Last thing, I understand the proposal that's put forth, but the message that sends, instead of our legal system is set up that you're innocent to. But the message that this sends is that you're gonna be treated as somebody who's guilty until you're proven innocent. So I really agree that a definitive decision has to be made. It's either she's good, it's either left or right, and there's no middle. Either she's innocent until proven guilty, or she's guilty until proven innocent. Make a decision.
Sam, with regard to the civil lawsuit in particular, there won't be a
Y'all can stop
pronouncement.
the clatter right now for
Hold
a
on,
moment.
we actually have the attorney speaking.
There will not be a pronouncement of innocence or guilt. That's not how the civil suit works. There will be maybe a determination of liability on the city or Vicky, or maybe not. There may be a settlement or a complete dismissal. the actions of the city this week have definitely affected the lawsuit and will affect the lawsuit. And that's, I think, problematic and creates a big unknown. So I want to put that out there because you're not going to get a pronouncement of innocence or guilt from that lawsuit. And I'm not even sure you're going to be able to imply one from however it ends. So I want to lay that there. I also want to say the city is authorized to pay attorney expenses, but I would also ask, or at least caution you, to save that discussion for later. That is an unbudgeted expense at this point. You are very early in the process and it could be very expensive. You can still do it later. You can still make that motion to approve her attorney expenses later on down the road when more is known. I just would caution you about doing that right now.
Then I'll rescind my second until we form another motion.
All right, so just some points of clarity. There is no HR process because the way that our charter is written, the city manager serves at the pleasure of the commission. I actually really agree with what you're saying, but I did bring that up in our talks, and it was advised to me by the attorney that there is no, you make a case, and then when the case is built, you can fire or keep. I did suggest that, and I agree with that method. However, that's not the way our charter works. There is no like process of building a case with official records. You can literally fire the city manager because you don't like the color of her shirt. I would never do that. Okay.
What is it?
I apologize. I did not mean it if it was taken that way. But that, I just wanted to clarify that. And so I will amend my motion for to take the litigation side out of it, just leave the.
But we've already amended it for that.
No,
The-
he just removed
No,
his-
what she was referring to, we've already amended the motion to take out the litigation side. No, I'm saying the motion was already, we've already amended the motion to take out the litigation initially when we did the motion. So the litigation was already taken out. Right. He just mentioned litigation for the litigation referring to the civil side.
Okay. So I guess the previous motion, which just includes the FDLE investigation, but we will re-review the attorney fees later.
The attorney fees are out of the motion, correct?
Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
All right, Ms. Parker.
I'd like to remind everyone that this is coming full circle from the original Hurricane Michael corruption case. Margot Anderson was charged with 64 counts and arrested immediately. Every single one of those charges were dismissed. Every single one of them. And what was her charge? Forgetting a date. Forgetting a date. That was not true. That she spent 30 days in prison for. And Vicki Gaynor sat there on the federal court and praised Michael White. Said that he was a wonderful person, that he stole $5 million from the city. Y'all don't think there's something wrong with that? Y'all think that's okay? It's not okay. And that's why this is coming full circle. That's why all this information is coming to a head. It has taken years for this to come to a head. And it's way past time. Guys, we need to quit the public commentary and get on with the vote. Get on with the vote. Get on with the vote. You don't need to tell me what to do. Nobody back there needs to tell me what to do. I'm in public commentary right now.
So y'all need to get on with the vote, quit the public commentary, get your motions, and go forward. This has been going on for too long.
Call to order. Call to order.
One question, Mayor. With all the back and forth that's been going on, Gay Spakes, 1019 Mississippi Avenue, with all the back and forth that's been going on, I'm not sure I know what the motion is. Can you repeat the motion? Commissioner Peoples, can you repeat what the motion is so that we all know what the motion is? Thank you so much. Or the secretary? Thank you so much.
I mean, that's a valid point.
Can I just make a comment here?
Well, hold on. Let him repeat the motion first, and then we'll come to your comment.
All right, the motion is suspension without pay until the FDLE review is complete. If she is found innocent, she is fully reimbursed, okay? With the implication that she is not innocent or guilty until that is determined. And while she's on suspension, she should not have a device, a city device, or any contact with employees.
But it does include her insurances.
It does include in her insurance, everything that will allow her to still be able to go to the doctor and all that stuff.
All right, Commissioner Ward.
I know there's been a lot of disagreement today, but one thing I think both sides agree on, and I have to agree with them, is you either on one side or the other. You're either for termination or not termination, come back to work. I think Mr. Langford said it perfectly. It may come down to what do they call it, nolo contende, no contest. What do you do with that? You know, I think that is one thing that's definitive that's come out of this whole thing is you have to make a decision.
Okay, well, let me say this. I'm just going to be real then. My decision was not based on a deposition. It's from other information that's come to me. If it's the deposition only that we're voting on, she still has her job in my mind. Okay? But there's other stuff that I cannot go to bat for. It cannot happen. And so that's where I'm at.
Make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I've had a trip to the trough. I want one more. I understand the dynamics of this. I've done a lot of litigation in my working life. What's our relationship to these attorneys? Are they by the hour or are they on staff? Because the only person smiling during all this is the guy with the $15 an hour paralegal, and he's getting $150 an hour to sort through it. So do we have an attorney? Is she hours or is she on staff? Or?
No, we pay, or are you paid hourly today? Yeah, she's paid hourly.
Careful, because in my experience, and I'm not defaming you and all, having an attorney is like owning a jukebox. When you put quarters in, it sings.
Correct. So
And it sings the song you want to hear. You pick it.
Yeah, we pay.
Pick it. So I just want to understand as a citizen, this legal thing could get real expensive real quick.
It does. All right, there's a motion and second on the floor. Assistant City Manager, if you call the vote, or somebody are you changing your motion? All right, motion second on the floor. Assistant City Manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Peoples?
He just restated the motion. All right, City Manager, Assistant City Manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Peoples?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
No.
Commissioner Tender?
Can't hear you.
Okay. I have to say no.
Mayor Nelson?
No. Motion fails.
New motion.
All right, so City Attorney, we've had two different motions now that are both failed. Do you have a recommendation for the commission? Or I should say that here's one question on
You have two options left, as I see that.
On Monday, we voted to put her on administrative leave for 5 days, I believe it was, until after that.
It was with the understanding that you would come and make a decision today about what happened next. So you have to, I feel like you have to make a decision today about what happens next.
So now do we have, since we've failed to make a motion or pass a motion to terminate her, pass a motion to suspend her, then does it, at what point does it go back to, okay, she goes back to work on Monday? Are we at that point now?
So the three motions you have left are to suspend without pay and no strings attached for a certain amount of time, which you state. You suspend her with pay for an amount of time, or you make a motion that her suspension is over and she returns to work. That could get a second. It did fail for lack of a second, but I suppose it could.
Again, I make a motion that we end the city manager's paid administrative leave and return to work on 7/21/25. Call for a second.
My bad. Is there a second? Last chance for a second. All right. Motion fails.
All right, so that motion failed.
So again, you're left to suspend her without pay, stating a time certain, or suspend her with pay with a time certain. I don't know what other options are left to you.
Look, you know what?
I make a motion to keep her on administrative leave with pay pending the FDLE review.
I'll second. Oh, I can't. Just kidding. I can't. I have the gavel. I'm not allowed to.
For a second.
Is there a second?
Motion dies.
Motion dies.
Look, people voted for us for a reason. We need to step up and make a decision. Someone even made the comment, why is it you always make the motion? Well, if you watch past meetings, there are times I just sit back and I let you guys run the meeting. And you know what happens? It's delay, 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 and then they all look at me, okay? You either going to step up, be a leader, or not. You're going to piss people off, okay? Either way, step up, make a decision now.
Call to order. Call to order. Hold on, we don't have a motion for public commentary right now. We're still figuring it out. Call to order.
So you can also
Make a motion to end the city manager's paid administrative leave and return to work on 7/21/25.
Is there a second? I'm going to give one more chance. All right. Motion dies.
There can also be a motion to reconsider a prior motion that failed. Procedurally, it can be done.
Is there any other motions that you all would like to make? So, City Attorney, what happens if right now we're at a stalemate. So what happens if we don't make a passing motion today for anything?
I suppose she stays on administrative leave until you make a decision about what happens about her employment.
Right.
The motion on Monday hinged on a decision of the commission. So if you make no decision, the status quo is that she remains on admin paid leave.
All right, I make a motion to terminate the city manager effective immediately. That's my motion.
All right, so there's a motion. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Your comments?
Bill Martin, 1710 Ritt Place, Lynn Haven. This is the first time I've ever addressed the commission, and I'm not addressing the commission at this stage pro or con Vicki Gaynor. I'm addressing you guys. I have never seen such wishy-washy stuff in my life of people not wanting to make a decision. You're floating, buddy. You're riding between the ditches, riding the fence. When you voted to suspend Vicki Gaynor, 4 of you voted to suspend her. You included. Now, based on comment today, you've changed your vote, and you're riding the fence. You guys have got to straighten up, and you got to start making some intelligent decisions. You're running a major city, major employees here. The life of a lot of individuals are being affected, and you're not making decisions. Base your decisions on the facts. Please, make up your mind. We've been here a long time, and how many motions have we made? Come on.
All right, at this moment, we will take a 5-minute recess. We'll be back at 2:36 to reconvene.
I'll be right here at 2:36.
We have a motion on the floor for termination with a second. We're receiving public commentary at this time.
There we go. I just turned it on.
Thank you.
So here's the deal. You guys can throw the deposition out the window. All right? You can throw the FDLE, whatever, out the window. Every one of y'all sat down with individuals and conducted your own, quote, internal investigation, if that's what you want to call it. Okay? Based on what you all found out, again, I'll say it again, I don't want to know what was discussed. All right? But I guarantee you, whatever you were told in those question and answers, it's going to come up again, whether it's in court, whether it's for a criminal investigation, whether it's for a lawsuit. It's going to come up again. All right? So, but let's throw the criminal investigation out. Let's throw the deposition out. I don't want you to think about anything else right now about other than the interviews that you conducted this past week. You all have said it already. An employee can be fired from the city because Florida is a right-to-work state. You need very little to terminate an employment, okay? I don't know what y'all found out. I don't know what the question and answers were. And I don't want to know, and none of you should say anything about it because you're going to get in legal trouble. I don't care how well you're trying to be talked into it. All right? But every one of you know, deep down, what was said. If there was alarming things that were told to you that are fireable offenses, forget about the deposition, forget about the lawsuit or whatever. And anybody that sits up here and tells you that if you take action, you're jeopardizing something. No, that's a truckload of baloney is what that is. You're here to mitigate risks for the city, okay? Any attempt for somebody to delay that, I think that's disingenuous, first of all. And second of all, if I were you, I'd call a federal judge and ask him or her, hey, if we make an employment decision here, is there a possibility? This is the advice we're receiving, and I just want to verify and validate that this is actually correct. Y'all need to start questioning stuff that's being told to you. Throw the deposition out. Throw the lawsuit out. Forget about all that, and think about what y'all were asked to do this week, which was conduct interviews. Whatever the information was, they might have came in there and said, man, she's got a purple unicorn in her backyard, and she's the greatest person ever. And I want to keep her on as my boss. Okay, great. Then vote on that. Vote based on that answer. All right? But if they came in there and told you something else that's a fireable offense, then you need to make a decision on that too. One way or the other, I don't care, but I want to trust the process.
Tony Bostard, 159 North Kimbrell. On Monday, you made a decision to suspend the city manager, Ms. Vicki Gaynor, pending your own private investigation, which you don't have subpoena power. You don't even have power to put them under oath. So they could have lied, and there's nothing you can say about it or do about it. Now, the crux of that was, we come back on Friday, we decide whether or not to fire the city manager. You made that decision today. Then, Commissioner Peoples, you want to inject a gotcha clause. Well, let's just suspend her with pay until the FDLE investigation is done. Your attorney, and half of the people sitting out here that know anything about the legal process knows that could have a finding of not guilty or decide that we're not going to proceed with this, and then you're still in the same boat. So you're trying to tell me that she's going to be guilty whether we like it or not. And you're going to do exactly what you want to do. Commissioner Perno, you over there in the cheap seats with the seconds. This has got to be the craziest unfolding of events in the history of Lynn Haven. The simple thing was, when you voted not to fire her, that was the end. When you voted not to, you amended that to say, okay, well, we're not going to fire her, but we're going to still punish her. That failed. The next motion that should have been made was, I offer a motion that we adjourn this meeting right now. That should have got a second, and that should have got 5 yays. But no, let me tell you two guys something. You cannot throw rocks and hide your hands. You can't live in a glass house and cast stones. Now, they always say give the devil his due. I give the two devils, Warwick and Tender, their due. At least they're sticking by what they said. I don't like it, but I give the devil their due. They at least are standing by what they're saying. You two, get off the fence and do the right thing. This is not hard. This is not something that requires a rocket science degree or astrophysics or what do you want, an underwater basket weaving degree in order to figure this out? Do the right thing. If you done been compromised by James Finch and his henchmen, that's okay. It ain't really okay, but it's okay. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. You got to make a decision. And the decision should be to adjourn without any further ado. How simple is that? Thank you.
There's a motion on the table. And I'm actually going to agree with Mr. Bostic on something. A decision needs to be made today, and you all need to do the right thing. You know, the HR manager, in case somebody didn't know, is Ms. Hodges, and she's sitting right here, okay? People who don't come to commission meetings don't know that. Again, a decision has to be made. It's already been said multiple times, okay? She could be fired for any reason, and I think I'll finish where I started. There's been multiple reasons to fire this woman from here. I don't like it. I wish she was doing a great job and that nothing was happening. I don't care if the hecklers don't believe that. I actually liked Vicki Gaynor when she first came on. Pat, I was at the meeting when she was brought on board by Margaret Anderson. She had been acting city manager. She came on. I actually said, oh, girl power. I think this is great. 2 women are going to make things happen. And it didn't work out that way. I don't care who believes me and who doesn't. Okay, the bottom line is a decision has to be made here today. There's a motion and a second to terminate immediately. Sam, you said it earlier. You said if it was a decision between termination or your choice, that you would vote to terminate. I believe you said that earlier, okay? And then your motion did not pass. So, Pat, what is right for this city right now? Is this good for the city? Is this good for the citizens? I don't think so. I think this is horrible. This has been a horrible few hours. Everybody's angry. Everybody's calling names. I've been called a Karen multiple times when I walk by there. This is horrible, and this should not be happening. Forget the noise behind you. Think about what you need to do for the city.
Mayor Nelson, I will agree with her that says do what's right for the city. I also agree.
Call to order.
My time shouldn't start yet.
Call to order. Call to order, please. All right, Miss Spates.
May I go? Yes, sir. Thank you so much. You know, I could respect you guys if you stood on your word. Your word is your bond. If you don't believe this is the right thing to do, then don't do it. Don't look down on the other end and see somebody's giving you the eye or the wink or whatever and giving you the nod to say, we're not going to do this. Because if you liked her and you voted to bring her on, now you don't like her and you're going to fire her for no reason at all. I think that's a problem all by itself. But if you are man or woman enough to say, there's some things that are going on, I believe in due process. I believe that a person should have the opportunity to correct the things that are not working or that are not right. Because I guarantee you this, if any one of you were sitting in the hot box and it was your job, your livelihood that was at risk of you not having that, this would play out differently. So follow your heart, follow what has been put before you, and be the men and women that the city, the citizens of Lynn Haven have elected for you to be. And stop all this back and forth. We've had 6 motions, and you need to make one and let it be done. Put the girl back on her job and let her do her job in the right way. And stop playing God over her.
George Hand, name and address on record. You, 5 people, were elected to do a job. Some of you do it angrily, some of you do it happily. But you're not going to please everybody. You got over 21,000 people living in Lynn Haven. You got about 100 people that raise saying every time we come to a meeting. I've been coming to these meetings over 30 years. Some of them been coming 5 or 6, and they think they know more about the city than people that have been living here all their lives. Something wrong with their system. Wherever they came from, they want to run things their way. They must have got ran out because they came here. You, too, need to make a decision and stick with it. Right or wrong. That's what you get paid for. I know you don't get paid much. I'm so glad I didn't get elected. I tell you, because I believe in the military, we do lead, follow, or get out the way. So if you're going to be a leader, be a leader. If it's right or wrong, you got to deal with it. That's why you pray to God every night, I hope before you go to bed at night. Thank you.
Good morning. And I'm going to say praise the Lord, everybody. You want to say this is not a race thing. I hear you. I pray it's not. But when the lady that just came forth and talked about Hurricane Michael, who we all trying to forget, stepped to Mayor's daughter and talking about Karen's can't be black too, tell me that's not racism.
Assistant City Manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Peoples,
Forced my hand here. I mean, I tried to save, I gave my 2 options, so I'm sticking to my guns. Yes.
Commissioner Perno, Mayor Nelson.
No. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.